In today's video guys, we're going to be taking a look at a brand new free-to-play zombies game which goes by the name Projekt Z Beyond Order. This upcoming first-person and co-op shooter is being developed by a company called 314 Arts and will also be published by Modus Games. Projekt Z is set in the World War II era where you find yourself stranded on a secret German island surrounded by zombies, where you'll need to use your survival instincts such as looting and crafting in order to get by. Now on the island there is a threat known as Projekt Z, a program run by the Nazis where their main goal is to essentially use the zombies as weapons in order to help Nazi Germany win the war. Now as you progress through the game, you'll also discover a variety of other secret projects that the Nazis have been working on, with some being related to the main threat Projekt Z and some which aren't really related at all but are still pretty cool to know. In addition to this, you will also gain access to a hideout where you'll be able to craft weapons and ammo along with other useful consumables using the resources you have looted. You'll also be able to build all sorts of structures and whatnot while you're inside the hideout, using a similar style to Fallout 4's settlement building, which I found really cool, and it allows the player to add their own personal twist to the game. On top of this, you'll also get the chance throughout the game to add and recruit other survival members to your hideout, but please know all of your actions affect the morale of the camp, which is very similar to how State of Decay works. So if you actually put it into that perspective, then be very careful when making your choices, and remember, you don't always have to rush into everything. So don't stress if you need a few minutes to think about what you want to do. Now as a camp leader, you'll also have the responsibility of sharing out the resources, and you may even find yourself in certain situations where you have two choices between either upgrading your character's skill set and gear, or maybe opting to helping someone else in need, which could be seen as a negative at first, but in the long run could end up turning out to be completely worth it, but that risk of course will be up to you. Now in terms of missions, you'll be able to start these through your hideout, and what really caught my attention is that these missions will belong to a story arc, which will have both a starting point and of course an end point, but depending on which way you go, this will end up influencing various outcomes. For example, if you find yourself in a mission where you have to go through a sewer system, you may encounter zombie types that you normally wouldn't see on the mainland, and then this would trigger different enemies to appear in other missions that normally wouldn't be there if you didn't choose that sewer mission at that particular time. Now I know it might sound a little confusing at first, but trust me, you'll pick it up fast, so don't worry. But again guys, as mentioned before, take your time and choose wisely, as your choices do impact your experience. Now during these missions, you'll be able to loot buildings and crates, and if you're lucky enough, you might even come across some materials which you can use back at base. You might even end up coming across other survivors which you can invite them back to join your camp. Now here's some good news for you players who might want to use certain tactics to maybe farm resources, and that is missions can actually be repeated over and over again. So if you find yourself liking a particular quest, then feel free to run it back a couple of times in order to capitalize on those rewards fast. Now if you're a COD Zombies fan like myself, or love killing zombies in a wave mode, then Projekt Z also offers a wave survival mode, which is completely separate from the main game, and in this mode, as expected, you must fight for your life, killing endless waves of zombies while making sure to constantly upgrade both your character and your weapons in between these waves. Now as of now, I don't really have any more information to share, but I'm sure over time there'll be various maps added along with new weapons and rewards, and maybe even special camos to grind out, who even knows. But let's now move on to the level design of this game, and on screen you'll see that it's split into 3 sections. Now please note, not every mission will be the same layout, so your experience will also differ from time to time, which should help out with the replayability and of course prevent players from getting bored, as it will end up being so predictable. Now section 1 is all about getting into the groove of things and understanding the main story. After that, you move into section 2, where the map opens up a lot more, giving the player a sense of freedom where they can now explore various buildings, loot around and find AI survivors as well. And then once you've done this, you can then move into section 3, and this is where the game really comes alive. In this zone is completely open world, kind of similar to the map Customs in Escape from Tarkov, which again I found super exciting. Now while you're in this zone, again you'll be able to kill zombies, loot zombies, explore the map, find survivors, and even complete side missions as well. Now if you end up doing a supply mission for example, you also get the ability to choose when you want to stop, and at that point you can call for help and you can escape via one of the exit points. And as a bonus, if you end up completing one of the side missions, the next time you load in, you can actually choose which section you prefer to load into, which again is a great feature to have, and it gives the player more flexibility rather than being forced to start again from section 1. Now most of you are probably eager to find out what kind of platforms this game will be available on, and I can gladly confirm that it will be available on PC, PlayStation 5 and Xbox, and this will also be cross-platform as well. Now moving on to the release date, unfortunately this game is nowhere near being finished. They still have lots of work to do, and the ideal kind of release date for this is going to be set in late 2024 next year. And I know hearing this will probably upset a lot of people, but I would rather have the devs take their time on this where they can actually try and iron out as many bugs as possible, rather than them just releasing the game in a work in progress state, where it could potentially kill the fanbase before it's even started. And trust me, I've seen so many games fall into this trap, and I really hope Projekt Z don't go down the same road, because this game looks incredible and I can see myself putting hundreds of hours into it, especially given the fact it's cross-platform, it runs co-op, you can play solo as well, so there's definitely lots of potential here. But of course, only time will tell if this game will end up being a huge W or a fat L. Now, in terms of the characters, Projekt Z will feature 4 different characters at launch, and each of them will have their own story mission, background, and of course, class abilities. If you're wondering how many weapons there are in the game, I can gladly confirm that it will have over 20 weapons, with each of them having their own variety of customization options. Now, can you customize every single weapon? And the answer to that is yes, you can customize every single weapon as long as you have the correct blueprint for the attachment you want to use. Very similar to how Dead Island and Dying Light work. Now, just before I wrap up the video, if you like the look of the game and want to test it out behind closed doors in a private playtest, all you need to do is get in contact with the publisher Modus Games, and if they have space available for you on the next session, you could be selected to play it early. So make sure you go follow their socials and contact them for further details. But other than that, guys, I think we'll leave it there for now and maybe do an update video on this in a couple of months time, say early next year. And also, this might be the first time I'm covering this game on the channel, but trust me when I say this, I've been following this project for the last 2 years, so I know exactly how far these guys have come in such a short amount of time, and it's incredible to see. I really do wish the entire team the best of luck. I hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. If you did, smash the like button, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll see you guys in the next one.